Hello, today we're talking budgeting. If you're like me, this is something that you think just sucks. It just sucks because I hate paperwork. I don't want to make spreadsheets. I don't want any of that. So I came up with this way to do a budget and be responsible without having to be nerdy about it. And it also has candy. Yes, this should make this whole process a little bit less horrible. Let's get to it. First thing you need to do is the very hardest part. You need to open up your Computron, log into your online banking, and look up the last 3 months of transactions. Find everything that you spend money on, and then we're gonna write it down. Here I have this slip of paper that I definitely haven't used on a previous take because I'm an incredibly legitimate YouTuber. Moving on, this is a little sheet with little labels on it. You'll see why here in a minute. Look at all the things that you spend money on for 3 months, and you need to make a label for each one that you cannot ignore. This is stuff like rent, car payment, bills, stuff that comes out of your account whether you feel like it or not. I'm not talking about groceries or gas or that kind of stuff. We'll get to that in a minute. This is like the auto payment, the man is taking it from you kind of things. For example, rent, insurance, car payment, phone, and so on. Oh, this is stupid. Okay, this is where the things are. It's hard to see. That's where the things break. Okay, phone. Once you have the things the man takes from you, write down your other subscriptions, things that come out automatically every month. Things like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, because you gotta get that Mandalorian. Maybe an Adobe subscription. This is stuff that if you just hung out in your house and did nothing, would still come out of your account. We should probably also write out what each one costs. That would be a good budgeting thing. This is obviously an example, so your numbers might be different, so write what your numbers actually are. Don't just copy me like those kids in school. So let's say this is $1,200, insurance is $80, car payment is $250, phone is $120, Netflix is $10 basically, Hulu is $7 basically, Disney Plus is $7 basically, and Adobe is $90. There it is. Nice. There's all our stuff. Also, don't forget utilities, things like that. Doesn't matter if you do this in order. You just got to get everything on a label that you automatically spend money on every month. If it fluctuates, estimate kind of the high-end average. Maybe you don't always spend $120 on power, but some months you do. You want to overshoot this. Whew, I promise this is the most paperwork nerdy part of this. This part, I hate this part. Let's move on to the fun part. Cusmash. This is one of those nifty craft organizers. It's like a tackle box, but for beads and things of that nature. I'm gonna do a flippity flop, shwamp, broke stuff. Now this is where things get better. We're gonna make a bunch of compartments here to put the candy in. And we're gonna budget using the candy. We have these nifty little dividers. Voila! And we're gonna make a little compartment for each one of these things. What I like to do is start at the back for reasons we will explore later. And in each one of these, we're gonna put the label. Shoop. Rent, insurance, car payment. Burn this one, it sucks. This one I ruined because it sucked anyway. Phone, the flicks, the loo, the knee, Adobe, power, and water. Like I said, you might have a ton more of these. That's okay, the concept works. We're also gonna make a couple more categories. These are gonna be things that you choose to spend money on, even if it's something that you do need. This is stuff like food, gas, and random junk. Food here, gas here, and random junk over meow. Why you gotta disrespect? What's that about? There, sick. Now that we have all of our categories, it's time to get to the candy. All right, so this is how it works. You have to figure out how much money you make per month. If it's a fixed amount, nice. If it fluctuates, probably estimate a low average. So if sometimes you make $2,000, sometimes you make $1,800, probably want to budget for the $1,800. For this example, we're gonna pretend it's $2,500 a month. You might make way less or way more than that. I kinda just picked a number. Again, concept is the same. What you do is each of these M&Ms is going to be a certain amount of money. You can make each M&M whatever amount of money you want. It's more exact if they're smaller, but it's also more miserable. I find about $20 works pretty well for this purpose. Quick maths, 2,500 divided by 20 is 125 M&Ms. Let's do it. 24, 125. Get out of here, other M&Ms. Budgeting. Now you have the money that you make in a month and where all of it is supposed to go. And spoiler alert, you can't actually physically spend more money than you have. Like, not in this example and not in reality. If you're spending more money than you have, that's why you're getting in trouble. We'll go over how not to suck at that in a second. First, let's take the M&Ms and put the amounts that are supposed to go into each one of these into each one of these. Start with the big one. Rent. You need 60 M&Ms if these are $20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 60. So that's $1,200 to rent. Insurance is $80. That's 4 nummy-nums. Car payment, $250. 20, 40, 60, 200, 40, 60. It's okay if you overestimate a little bit. It's actually a little bit safer that way. Phone, 120. Netflix is 10. Hulu is 7. Disney's 7. Again, overestimating quite a bit here. Water, power, Adobe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now this is really cool because you can see at a glance what you're spending the most money on. Rent. What else is taking up a lot of money? Car payment. This is like where all the things are going. And it's not a boring spreadsheet or anything. It's candy, man. It's candy. And you can't make up numbers. You only have so many M&Ms. These don't count. These are snacks. These are motivation snacks. Yeah. So now for these, food, gas, and random junk, you can kind of choose how much you want to spend on those each month. And you can only use this down here. Your priority should probably be food because, you know, if you don't food, you die. Also, gas is important because you probably need gas to get to work to get all the M&Ms. And the good thing is you don't have to try too much. You can kind of just throw some in there and estimate it. And if you get it wrong, you can just move stuff over. It's okay. In fact, you could even figure out how much gas you tend to use, like $60 a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and how much food. If you're single, 50 or 60 a week's probably pretty reasonable. And now you know how much you have left over. So if you're gonna stick to your budget and actually be a responsible person, you have $60 left over to spend on random junk. And as sad as that is, it's the reality. So if you want to spend more on any of these things, you have to move an M&M there because it doesn't come from, there's no magic stuff. Here's where it gets really cool because you can actually start making decisions to make your life better, make your financial life a little bit easier. In fact, you could even be a super boss and do something called savings. Savings is this thing where you have money, but you don't spend it. It sounded crazy to me too, but it's actually really cool because if you save a little bit each time, after a while you look at it and be like, I have enough for an Xbox One, freaking an Xbox One, or something responsible like a house or whatever. So let's say maybe you want to be a little bit more cost effective. You want to have some more money to, you know, go on the dates, things like that, stuff that comes out of the random junk category. All you have to do is figure out a place to take more M&Ms from. Let's say maybe you cut out that Hulu subscription. Boom. I'll just throw this in here to show that it's dead. You have Netflix and Disney Plus. I mean, do you really need Hulu? You know what I'm saying? Maybe you cut out that Disney Plus. Yeah, right. I mean, come on. Maybe you could do a little bit more cost-effective shopping. Maybe not get the Doritos every time. Maybe get the generic Cool Ranch chips, take an M&M out, put it in random junk. You're going to the movies. But I love this because it's a nice visual way to figure out where you're spending money and how you can allocate your resources. Allocate the resources. That was nice. And the cool thing about doing it in a case like this is you can pack it up, pack it in, and allow yourself to begin to take it to your mom's house and show her how freaking responsible you are because you got a box full of M&Ms. So who's grown up now? I hope that made sense. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. If you like this, hit like and make sure to subscribe to my channel here for all kinds of tips on self-care, adulting, productivity, creativity, all of those things. I would also love to hang out with you on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/CaseyScreamsBack. I'll see you then. We'll see you there. Now it is time for the outro.